Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV with my co-host Jeremy Scippio.
What's going on, people?
Yeah, man, I was telling him the intel came back and said he was up at the Free Nationals last Tuesday, man.
Shoot, I wish. I ain't gonna lie. They look live though, for real.
Yeah, yeah, I'll say that. Shout out to the homeboy T Nava. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing about him, he'll hit me up at the most obscure moments. Like I'll think about him here and there when I see just stuff, about the Free Nationals, or whenever I see Anderson Paak, I'll always think of that. And then
Mhm.
he'll just call me up and be like, "Yeah, man, at the airport." You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you just be chilling while traveling, you mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man. Like I said, I definitely when I seen, I mean, I knew he was on tour because I talked to him. But yeah, when I seen they did the Hollywood Bowl, and then I seen they put the word sold out up there, I was like, man, that's an achievement, man. I
yeah,
mean, selling out the
yeah,
bowl, that's one of those. You know what I mean? Can't nobody take that back from you. And I remember when I first moved out here, he was doing shows at the Lyric. So that's
yeah,
a long way.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a crazy thing, and I think somebody that people need to do their research on and definitely give him his props. Shafiq Hussein, Sarah,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
the Dove Society. Like
Mhm.
he was really the nucleus for a lot of those musicians. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because Ron used to tell, or T Nava, he used to tell me that he would go to these jam sessions over at Shafiq's, and that Anderson was a part of the whole collective, and it was just like a
Uh-huh.
collective of these very talented LA musicians that would come together, and in their entirety they really did some incredible stuff. But looking at them individually, it's kind of like, dang, how do all these different people kind of come together in LA? And it's kind of a unspoken, I mean, to the people that are in the know, they know, but to the people that don't know, it's kind of like, I think they should know.
Yeah, what did it say? I'm gonna mess it up. This is some old saying, but pretty much water finds its level or something like that. Something like that. But yeah, I think that's what it's about. Like, 'cause, I witness it. I'm around some extremely creative individuals, and early on in my comedy career too. And these people, I knew they had something. I knew it, and but it just feels like early on, you like I'm just fanning out over my friends too much. But then when you go to see where everybody's at and what they're doing, you like, man, like I knew something was different. But it's hard to say. It's like, why did we all find each other? How did we all, become this creative bunch? So yeah, I just think it's probably one of those situations like, you know, fate had drew these people together. Because even my proximity, like, I just, me and Ron grew up together. So going from that to me coming out here and immediately meeting Anderson Paak, one of the first people I met in LA, period, because of him. And then seeing all this, now I get to tell stories like I remember, we was just running the streets of Hollywood. So yeah, it's just finding, same with Tiffany Haddish. I can name a few other people, just early, career stuff that I think is amazing watching them, do their thing.
You know, one of the things that Ron taught me is that, you know, sometimes you got to trust somebody's process. Because I knew Ron when he was very not green to being a musician, but green to being kind of in the mix. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
And
Hmm.
his way was very unconventional. Very
Whoa, what was his way? By being silly?
just moving to the beat of his own drum,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
and
definitely.
and just
I can attest
trusting
to
it.
that.
Like, dude, I can remember many times, we'd head to Japan or head to Europe, and I'd be on the plane, and the hairs on my neck are standing up. Everybody's on the plane, and I'm waiting and I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, when is Ron gonna show up? We don't, it's not gonna be that easy to find a keyboard player without me
Uh,
making a phone call before this plane takes off. We about to be up in the air for about 10, 12 hours or whatever. and he'll
Hmm.
show up like right in the nick of time. And at the same time, um, I got to witness something in Ron that drew a lot of respect. Where he drew a lot of respect from me. He truly just loves being a musician. If he wasn't
Yeah.
getting paid and wasn't in the free nationals and wasn't in the mix and all that kind of, he still do. Dude, I saw Ron like wherever there's a piano, even if he's not supposed to play on it, he gonna challenge whoever it is. He gonna
Oh
challenge
yeah.
challenge whoever it is. And I've seen him hop on pianos and seen the security start to walk up to him, like, what's this guy gonna do or whatever. And then he start doing this thing, and it's kind of like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. No, I mean I agree. Look, I've been in the most awkward scenarios with this man, and he not flinching, so I know what you mean. But yeah, no, man, since we were really young, I knew he was like that good. When you witness him, you're like, man, this dude is that good. And I think the whole school knew. But yeah, he don't back down. If he's like a true musician, a true truly a true artist, just in when he's there, he's there. And I remember trying to get him to stop playing. He'd just play and look at you like this. And he'd be like, you try to have a conversation, and I'm like, yo, I'm trying to talk to you. Like he that. And he act like he getting up, but he'll still keep playing with one hand. He's just a silly guy, man.
I saw last one on Ron, man.
Mhm.
I I've told the story before. We did uh it was a jazz festival in Long Beach, and afterwards
Yeah.
I said, man, let me take you out to dinner. Let's just go, because I just, man, I wasn't ready to go home, whatever. And I was like, shoot, let's. He's like, oh, sure. So we went to a little soul food spot, and we're eating, and he's looking at his phone, and this was he wasn't on social media. I could tell, like, he wasn't, while we were eating or whatnot, I could tell he wasn't on social media while he was looking at his phone, and he was just kind of going over it. I was like, what's going on with that? He's like, oh man, I got a church session tomorrow morning. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm learning the songs. I was like, I was like, but man, I thank God for placing me in spaces and places with people that motivate me, man, and that I can revere them in a way. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
really say, like, man, this is something to make me go a little harder. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And even though, and like I've said before, I worked with Keith David in the past, and he had called me one night, and he was in New York, and he was going over his lines, and it was about maybe 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, but he was in New York, so it was getting into the morning in New York, and he's an
Mhm.
accomplished voiceover actor, an accomplished actor, all this stuff. And he was like, nah, man, I go over all my lines. He's like, I'm not gonna be the nigga on the set that don't know that don't know his lines. He's like,
Mhm.
and I just remember saying to myself, man, if someone who's that good can can do can put in the work to try to go further, that just let me know how much work I gotta do. How much more work I have to do rather.
Yeah, facts. I mean, recently I've kind of dabbled back into playing keys. Um, because work begets work, so I've been getting more work. And I have to tap into, my early learnings, whatever. It does, like, it makes you, especially because with comedy, even though I do work hard, I'm not flexing the same early grinding muscles.
Mm-hmm.
So with playing keys is getting me that feeling back again, like of trying to like get something down packed because you got to show you don't want to embarrass yourself. I say that's another thing about Ron too. I feel like he's always believed in me playing more than I believe in myself because
Wow,
when you playing with people like that, it make you go like, yeah, I quit.
that's a compliment, man. That's a hell of a compliment.
Yeah, but he also mocks me too, so no. He be like, "You still playing that?" I mean, because we took the same classes. Well, I didn't take all. He took a bunch of classes. I took a few classes, but it was like I think like it was like I was like 2 to 3 classes behind him, like underneath him, whatever. So when he'll go through it, then I'll go through it. But yeah, it just made me go like, man, I gotta bust my ass. I gotta get better. But yeah.
Nah, man. So we gonna give out the rest in pieces, and we gonna go through them, man. You know,
Mhm.
uh, I want to say, and I think I can say this. Culturally, Black people say it happens in threes. I
Yeah,
really don't think I've heard any other culture say that, but so I claim that. I claim that for us. But they
yeah,
say it
yeah,
happens in threes. But we've lost Matumbo, John Amos, James Earl
yeah.
Jones,
Yes.
Taggart, Tito Jackson.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like I was telling you before, I saw an interesting clip on Matumbo today where he was being interviewed and he was in the he was he was he was in the therapy room where you get, I guess, the when you finish playing a basketball game, they put the little electrolysis things on you and do whatever they do to your muscles to keep them cool
Hmm.
from tightening up or whatever. And it was a younger version of Matumbo and a younger version of Michael Jordan. And Jordan was kind of like, now you could tell this was the Jordan before his shoes had just gone crazy because
Hmm.
he wasn't arrogant or anything, but he was kind of like, yeah, man, I dunked on you, right? And then Matumbo was like, who?
Run the
Matumbo
footage back.
he said, who? You didn't dunk on me. He said, now Scotty, you know what I'm saying? Which I
Hmm.
was kind of like, dang, because nobody really want to give Scotty his flowers for like doing what he did for the Bulls, man. Scotty was a hell of a player too, but to be overshadowed with Michael Jordan. And then I always say too, you got to give your flowers to Rodman because neither of them would have been who they were without Rodman. Because Rodman was the dude to go out there and just create all the mayhem and just
Yeah.
stir everything up. But to see Matumbo and kind of Jordan go back and forth, I was like, man, Matumbo, he was more than just a guy on the field. He had a great personality. And then I remember him um, doing things where he would take care of his village, back in
Hmm.
Africa and stuff like that. And it really caused me to hold him in a high regard.
Hmm. Yeah. Just I think when it comes to players, it's kind of sad that we don't remember them the right way until stuff like this happens. But it's still good to get they, witness them get their flowers. Dikembe Mutombo, obviously, he responsible for the catchphrase, no, no, no. They do the finger wave. I think we need to bring that back. That's crazy work. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's just one of those impenetrable forces, man. And, you know, I would say in my life, I'm clearly not a sports guy, but the most I was into basketball was when I was like a kid, like that was it 2001
Mm.
finals with the Lakers versus Philly or whatever. I man, that was like my year. And NBA. Matter of fact, I remember NBA 2K, 2K, 2K1, 2K2. I used to make you make my perfect team, and I was always take the Dikembe Mutombo and kind of like take his stats and make my own character. But yeah, it's sad, man, and him passing of brain cancer. You know, I think that's one of those things that people suffer in silence. Because I don't know anything about him having that or whatever. So yeah, man, RIP to the big one. That's a big loss.
Yeah, and
50 at
then
50 at 58 too. That's crazy.
wow, wow, I did not know he was that young.
Hmm.
I didn't know he was that young. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Being that you're a little younger than me. What did John Amos mean to you?
Well, I don't want to speak for everybody in my age demographic because even though I do, I research a lot of things and I'm
Mhm.
certain things that I was more, and that's out of my spectrum.
Mhm.
But I would say with Good Times, I wasn't a fan of that show. I didn't watch on a regular basis. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why it wasn't part of my thing. And it's not necessarily an age thing because don't kill me. But I watched way more episodes of Andy Griffith. I watched way more episodes of Jeffersons. Sanford and Son. I don't know. Maybe it was just the channel I was watching. But yeah, Good Times. I get the jokes. I always see the jokes. I know all of the, damn, damn, damn. I know all those. But yeah, it just wasn't. John Amos for me was, I would say, the thing I connected with him the most was probably when he played
Coming to
what's her
America.
name? No, not even. Neil Long's father on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, that was probably where I got the most comfortable with him when he was giving Will Smith the business on the show. Um, then probably Coming to America. I believe Coming to America came out the year I was born, so that's probably,
oh wow.
if I'm not mistaken. But even then, going back, yeah, watching him, the McDowell's character, that greedy boss like character, I would say he's the archetype of that for me. Because you got so
Okay.
many greedy boss characters, but he's the main one where he'll do anything to save a cent. Like even like the Everybody Hates Chris character. I feel like that's a spinoff of that. But yeah, I feel it. I know everybody see him as James Evans, yeah, but he wasn't that. I didn't watch enough Good Times for him to relate to me in that way.
You know what? I didn't watch a lot of Good Times, but uh for the show Good Times and to have a strong black figure on TV, that was just like a
Mm-hmm.
very big deal. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It was like, and they got him out of there fast. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? They got they
Yeah.
got they got him out of there quick, fast, in a hurry. Where he
Oh, real quick. Oh, I'm lying. I'm lying. My first connection with him is Kunta Kinte. That's who he is.
Roots.
Yeah, Roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was older. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, God, I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. All good. All
Yeah,
good.
when he
Yeah.
had his foot cut off. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was he was a very strong black figure, and he displayed authority in the household. And I
Yeah.
feel like there hasn't been authority in the household. Once Norman Lear and them got him out of there truly hasn't been authority in the household since. Now you
Oh, you gotta be careful. We got Uncle Phil.
but
Oh
I'm
man,
talking about
so
it.
we got
But James was stomp down authority. James would
really?
oh yeah, James was
Dang,
stomp down.
okay.
No,
Okay, okay. Dang.
James, I'll say James was maybe about 15 to 20% ha ha, and the other 80% strong, hardworking black man. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Authoritarian of his household. You know what I'm saying? Just really hard working, authoritarian. Someone you could look up to. Where the black fathers after that, at best, were 50% comedy, 50%
Mhm.
some when James got kicked off of that show, it was never the same, man. Just as far as the black in-home male role model that you would see on TV. Now, the funny part about, well, no, it's not funny, but the interesting part about that was he held to his principles as far as being understanding that he was a role model and understanding that him being the father of a black household and what the responsibility of that was, him really holding to his principles. But the interesting part about that was that he was married to a woman that was not black, which
Yeah, man.
but I could give him more props for that though, because okay, even though he chose to marry a woman that was, that wasn't black, he still cared enough to provide this role model and to show the strength of the black household, like on TV. Because so tell me this, I got a question. So you
Mhm.
um being born the same year that Coming to America came out.
Let me double check that. But yeah, I think I was born the same year. Yeah, actually, fact check approved. Yeah, it came out 88.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, can you name another strong black father that at most was 20% comedy and 80% strength of the household?
Well, like I said, I believe you. I can't go too deep into percentages when it comes to that because I just named black fathers I respected. I mean, I,
Okay.
I agree. I agree. It's a rare category. Because basically, we've been doing the show long enough to where we had Carl Winslow on. And, I was telling him how I in some way, especially because my father he wasn't in house.
Hmm.
So I was one of the kids that TV raised and
Okay.
I appreciated his fatherhood. Now, if we go into, like I said, I think it's hard for me to go percentage wise, but just naming off the top, you definitely got Bill Cosby. Heathcliff Huxtable. Okay, I get it. Bill
But
Cosby, we're not allowed to mention his name. Heathcliff, yeah.
but I'm so but that they were mostly comedy though. That was that I guess that's
Well,
the
yeah,
point.
like I said, I'm not fighting against
Yeah.
you. I'm just saying that, just thinking like I think the list is short of just strong black fatherhood.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
There's just a short list of representation, but I'd say just thinking of ones to even name,
Hmm.
you got Bill Cosby, that was at least I think of um, Carl Winslow, Uncle Phil, uh, shoot, I mean even them jumping ahead, but even everybody hates Chris, Terry Cruz's role, Um, if I think harder, I could probably find some more, but
Hmm.
I say like it's just a rare thing in the household. It wasn't, I don't want to be disrespectful to the black TV fathers. Um, but another thing with James Evans, that's funny. You said what you say? You said 20% comedy.
20% ha ha. Yep,
Uh,
20% ha ha and 80%,
yeah, it's funny
authority.
because that's actually how I felt about his hairline. It was like 20% authority, 20% hairline, 80% until 20% ha ha, 80% cul-de-sac. Because that's pretty amazing. Him and George Jefferson made that cool. You know what I'm saying? To the point where if you had hair and you had a child, you would just cut the middle out.
Oh
And
yeah,
people
that's the
know,
punishment, man.
and
That's
people
the
know you got kids. And I would say that being prominent black men on television, like he made that a thing. Like that was cool. I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't think, especially in this culture where everybody's getting surgery and you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't have survived. I can tell it's a different generation of people. But
amen.
yeah.
There's
But yeah.
men that would be it. There's contemporary men that in the phase of life that I'm in and in the phase of life that you're in, they they use aesthetics, man. They like,
Yeah.
man, like, they do that. But yeah, and
That's
then
actually why I try to avoid, you know, certain things because I know I talk too much crap, so I can't I can't make fun of people and then join them.
hey, I'll go to it's so funny. I remember years ago I was talking to Big Boy and we were talking about something, and this had to be maybe around 2000 or between 95 and 2000. And uh, he used the term convertible,
Mhm.
but in the context of a hairline. You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, man, I'm sporting my convertible too, man. And I just yeah, I just let it go, man. I never tried to hold on, man. Once the hairline was kind of crazy, man, I was like,
Mhm.
a barber's a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna accept where it's at. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
we gonna start. We
Actually, just found a picture of him with a hairline. Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
James
Yeah, this
Amos.
picture. Yep, this picture is, and it was already looking weak back then. This picture is from 1940. That's what. No, but seriously though, and I remember he was having some elder abuse stories
Yeah, I remember.
recently. But yeah, man, like you were saying, man, strong black father figure on television, maybe the strongest. Just want to show that man some respect. A comedy legend as well, because everything he was on, he gave it 100%. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing for sure. His character on everything he was in stood out. I just seen a clip they posted on Martin when he was the drill sergeant, and he was killing that. You know what I mean? So I don't know as far as like character acting goes. I mean, look more into his background because I don't know. But somebody who's giving you range, and can still maintain his manhood, that's pretty impressive. Straight up.
And then James Earl Jones, man. Oh man. And the interesting thing about that is that shout out to Eddie Murphy, man.
Yeah.
Uh he's done a lot of good, man. He's
Hmm.
definitely he's done a whole lot of good. And even though some people felt that Coming to America 2 wasn't the strongest movie,
I don't know who those people
I know, I know. It was I'll say this. The storyline was what it was, but I'll say the makeup and the comedy. You got to give it up to Wesley Snipes, man. He was funny. He
are. Oh,
was
absolutely.
he was definitely funny. Um, with James Earl Jones, I think it was dope the way that he was able to, like, he had his funeral while he was alive, kind of, so to speak.
Hmm.
How
Yeah.
they honored him with that. Um, with the Coming to America 2, the only part that lost me with that was homeboy that plays on the Shy. I think that's the actor that was the son, that was Eddie Murphy's son.
I don't know him from The Shy, but can't think his name right now. But yeah, I know him and I've had the pleasure of performing with him. Yeah, he's a decent actor though.
Well, no, I'm
Superior
not talking
Donuts,
about his.
all that stuff.
I'm
Yeah,
not talking about his acting. I'm just talking about
yeah,
the storyline part.
yeah. Storyline. Yeah.
Yeah, the storyline part. But I will say that my pops is like 82. He did find it funny when Leslie Jones was fanning was fanning between her legs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That little part, yeah, that was something that the older generation could connect with the comedy. But I'll say
Yeah,
that
his name is Jermaine Fowler, by the way.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, so I'll say that. But it's crazy because a lot of people wanted to hold Coming to America 2 up to Coming to America 1, and I was just kind of like, I was cool with Coming to America 2, but they're just two different movies.
Yeah, well, not only they're two different movies. One's a good movie and the other is
Huh.
not so good one. But yeah, I would say, and we don't have to go all the way into this because we have a lot to cover. But yeah, I say the premise of the movie is just what bothered me. Literally, the premise of the movie is a deleted scene from the original film. Which, if it's so good, why would you even dabble into that? And to have his mother, it'd be from a made up moment where our main character was taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? And I'm using that word because I can't say that word, but
Yeah,
that's wild to base
yeah.
like the writer should have stopped and was like, let me stop smoking while I work. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I just feel like the regular story is really basic. It's like, hey, coming to America. How about you have him build his life like, the king basically had his life in Africa. His son was like, man, I want to figure out life for myself. I want to find my queen. He forbids it, then he goes. And it could have been the son of Eddie Murphy and the girl to play Lisa. Why? Because he actually looks like them. You know who he doesn't look like? Leslie Jones. He don't look like Leslie Jones, but he looked like what's her name? Sherry Healy. If Sherry Healy and Headley or whatever and Eddie Murphy had a kid, it actually might look like Jermaine Fowler. But that's just me. I don't have awards for writing. I don't know what I'm talking about. Put my foot back in my mouth. But that's it. I just really feel like that the story was right there. Maybe they just didn't want to encroach on somebody else's stuff. But
I'm gonna come from left field real quick just because I feel I need to, man.
anyway, go for it.
So I've got this constant battle going on with my neighbors.
Uh-huh.
And they got a lot of wildlife going on over there. So uh on Sunday, I kept hearing this screaming that sounded like a cat. So I was like, this is too much. And like, because they do their little dog breeding, and dude, I've bred dogs, but I've never had a kennel that held like 13. And literally they got one that does that. Like that's
Mhm.
matter of factly. That's not no exaggeration, no nothing, whatever. So, I'm trying to chill on my Sunday, do a little Netflixing and whatnot. So I text my neighbor and I was like, it sounds like it's a cat stuck somewhere uh in your yard. And if you want me to, I'll come over and I'll help you find it. Cause it was just too much, dude. It was just like going on and on and on. So she was like, well, she said something like, well, I'll look for it tomorrow or something like that. So I was like, okay. So then Monday came and
Uh-oh.
I'm still hearing this cat, in the morning time, this cat just ran, just going off. So on my way home, I was like, I'm gonna get me some rest tonight. So I'm a text her on my way in, and I'm gonna say, before I get home and get comfortable, I'll come over and help you find that cat because the cat is just going off, right? They got now they got different kind of Frenchies, the ones with the long hair, the ones with the short hair, the more miniature than the teacup French. They got like all this stuff going on. Dude, they got I think it's called it's the bald-headed cats that cost the grip. And so,
Minx. Was it?
yes,
Minx.
Sphinx,
Was it?
a Sphinx, I
Sphinx.
think a
Yeah.
Sphinx. So they got this cat and she finally admits that she, she admits, but she don't admit that she told me a lie.
Uh-huh.
And she said, the kids got a Sphinx and it's spraying all over the house. And
Uh,
so, they put it in a cage outside. Now I'm over here, I'm like, cats don't go in cages outside. Like that's why I was screaming all night. You know what
mhm.
I'm saying? So anyway, man, that's just my little rant, man, about what I gotta go through, man. Living borderline in the hood, borderline not in the hood. And trust me, man, I give them hell when my female dog is in heat and my male dog is going crazy. I know the neighborhood don't care for my dog, but
Uh-huh.
that cat was something. That cat was just something different,
Yeah, but that thing, that hairless cat, that's worth $2,000 basic level, just on a
man.
base. Imagine they had kids. Woo.
But
Yo,
but
you got some bread real quick, right?
yeah, but the thing about it is, when you got animals like that, everybody don't want to get them. Like the dude
Yeah.
who I get my dog food from, I'm the hustle man. I get everything wholesale, whatever. Uh, I get my dog food from this dude who lives across the street from the Compton Cowboys over in Compton, and they do
Oh,
everything
cool.
over there, man. They homeboy does the pregnancy test. He'll artificially inseminate your dog. He got all kinds of stuff going on. But anyway, he got a couple $25,000 Frenchies. And so I asked him, I was like, well, you got these $25,000 dogs, and what's going on? And he's like, dude, them stimulus checks that ran out. He was like,
Interesting.
dude, everybody got the dogs, but nobody can afford to pay for the dogs. And so it's just
Mhm.
kind of, and I'm just
So
like,
you
dang.
stuck, you missed the sweet spot, and then you just stuck with these animals. Real quick, I just looked up your your neighbor's cat. It says Sphinx cats can have a bit of reputation for smelling, and even when they're clean, they have an unusual earthy smell. Sphinx cats can smell when they're in need of a bath, since any bacteria, yeast, and yeah, bacteria can build up on their skin. So that's what you're dealing
And
with. But yeah, switching gears a little bit. Did we talk? Maybe we did talk about this. Yeah, Shannon Sharp. It was a little bit ago, I guess. Shannon Sharp, basically, I don't know. Basically, he, I don't even know how to
promoted
start
his
this.
product.
Is that what he did?
That's what he
He talked
did.
pretty much him and he had his IG open and it went to a live video where he was having sex with the woman. It sounded like from the background, you couldn't see anything, but he called her Michelle. So that's my Michelle. And it took over the trending of the internet. A lot of people feel like it's a hoax. A lot of people feel like, because then he said he was hacked. Hacking does not work that way. Then a story about he have two phones, one for the plug and one for the low. No, I'm kidding. He had two phones and one for the basically it was the other phone. He said he was getting hit up on his one phone saying, "Hey, you're live right now. You live right now." And he's like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." And he's seen it was that phone. A lot of people have been complaining about how hard it is to go live accidentally, but I'm here to say I've never done it. I will admit, but I think it's kind of easy. My phone does a lot of things by itself that I never asked it to do, and I think going live could be one of them. But yeah, basically, here's where we are. Um, Shannon Sharp lost some endorsements or something due to this situation. Um, hey man, we'll see what's going on. I mean, but a lot of people believe that he did this on purpose. Do you believe that he did this on purpose?
I saw the commercials pop up on my Facebook, him selling them roll pills, man.
Because so you feel like this is a clever commercial?
No, dude, it happened.
What pill? What are they pills? What are they called?
row, something like RO. And he in the commercials are everywhere.
I gotta see.
They're
So
everywhere.
you so that was what this was him
That is
going
what
like, hey, if you want to go, so he could just go, hey, if you guys want to be like me and Michelle, Michelle's Debbie, please. And she's pleased with me because I have these bro pills. So you use these bro
yeah.
pills, you be just like me. Link in the comments. And we like to do something before two something. Like that. That'd be that's a lot of
Man,
people say he's doing it for publicity. I'm like, for a man who has the most publicity, are you sure that's what he would do? I don't know.
the roll pills. You
What about you heard people say he was doing this to prove that he was straight to fight the gay rumors.
that's not gonna prove it. The roll pills. It was about the roll pills. It was about the roll, and it's so crazy because we're in a time right now, and not to be, Mr. Conspiracy Theory and all this, but we just in a time and in a space where people they'll scream to look that way while something else is happening that way. And that's just where it is, man. That
Even though Shannon is being very messy lately, this year, he's definitely made a splash. I just still don't see him as being that crass with his brand just yet. I do think he gets down to that, but I say, when it comes to making money and comfort, I mean, he's so good that I think that, why risk so many things off of, and even like, look, if he is a single man, like, I don't think him and Michelle got anything special. I don't think he want to let the other Michelles of his life know that he was messing with Michelle. I'm pretty sure that hurt his, you know, and he got kids too. You know what I'm saying?
I
Nobody wants
saw
these
the
kids.
commercial pop up the next day.
I mean, do you feel like the commercial was? Do you feel like that's even risk that? I might even risk that. I mean, there's no proof that
Hey,
Michelle was having a great time. I ain't hear no screaming.
hey,
I heard breathing.
hey, man. As
I'm a,
hard as
I'm
it
a
is to get people to come up off of their money in this particular day and time, people will do anything to sell a product,
I need to get on board with that then. Shoot, that's
man.
like clean prostitution.
Hey,
That's like you can smash, advertise, and you ain't got to show no your face. That I think OnlyFans like that.
hey. So
No
so
respect.
move. So yeah. one of your fellow comedic thespians, Mr. Marlon Wayans.
Hmm.
Um, oh,
Yeah.
perfect segue. Case in point. I think before the Vlad thing jumped off, I think that he was on a press run, and the Vlad thing just added something that uh, uh, he could benefit off of. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that he started this press run because of Vlad TV. I think that there was something else that was kind of going on with maybe, and a lot of times these guys will they'll get a new PR firm or something like that,
Yeah.
publicist, and the publicist will start to book them on different things, and then you know there's that saying that all publicity is good publicity to some people.
Hmm. I mean, you talking about you talking about the campaign, or what are you talking
I'm
about recently?
speaking
And Marlon
of,
Wayne's been making news. He's been making news a lot lately.
well, it seemed like the Shannon thing kind of like jumped off a whole new body of life into what seemed to be kind of like a press run to me.
Yeah, but I mean, Marlon Wayans is. I would say he's still an active artist, so I think it's important to, I feel like Vlad was trying to make him seem like he was a has been, and he's still working. I mean, he just put out a comedy special. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I varying degrees. If you like it or whatever, but he's still working. So, I think it's important for him to stay in the public eye. And I think you're probably right about the PR and how they're showing out. But I don't think it don't feel forced. This is somebody who's still been he's still on billboards across the country. He's still, could be on the side of a building. This ain't like somebody who, is just on YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
jumped. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I understand when it's forced,
Yeah,
but he's still a proactive, celebrity in all of this. He's literally he had HBO deals, Netflix deals, like on some Adam Sandler stuff. You know what I mean? And he's one of the few people who can still sell. Not a lot of people can sell. They're not going to put a bunch of money into somebody who can't, provide proof of their numbers. And he's one of the few that can. Even out of the Wayans brothers, he's the only one who's still working to this capacity. I don't want to. I shout out to Damon and Damon Jr. They got his TV show coming out. But yeah,
yeah, and I give him his props for his support of his daughter and her
yeah.
journey. You know what I'm saying? And him really standing out there. And I'll tell you the funny thing, his daughter's hell of a, well, that's not funny. She come from a family. His daughter's funny, man.
Oh, is she? She a comedian? Oh,
Oh
she ain't a
yeah.
comedian. I think you're confusing her.
Marlon Wayans doesn't have a daughter that's a comedian.
I do not think so. Who do you think his daughter is?
I
I think
think
I think you thinking of Shantae, ain't you?
Shante, who's her father?
She not Marlon Wayne. That's his niece.
That's his
Yeah,
niece.
yeah.
Who's the father?
I mean, it's probably her mother's probably the
Oh,
Waynes, but yeah.
okay.
I mean, yeah. She
Yeah.
cool. I do shows with her pretty often. We just
Are
did a
you
show like
sure she's not Marlon Wayans' daughter?
look at me. You're asking me a question about comedy, and it's like close. It's like close to me. I
Okay. Okay.
was on a show with her like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sure she's not. She's.
Nah, if you sure,
uh,
then you sure.
yeah, but shout out to Shantae Wayne. She's the homie. We,
Hella
we actually
funny.
need to have her on the show. Actually, I'm gonna work on that because that's the homegirl. Like I said, I just did a show with her. She's dope. Um, but he does have a gay daughter. That's I believe not a comedian. But you never know with the Wayans. There's always option B. And yeah, so this is the story. This is I thought you were gonna go with it. I hate to even be the one to go here with it because I don't like this part of it. So obviously, you got the elephant in the room, which is the Diddy stuff, right? And Shannon Sharp asked him the question, like, "Were you at the Diddy parties?" And he goes, "Yeah, I left early." I think it sucks that people are using this against Marlon and saying like, "Oh, you saw some stuff, definitely." I've even seen some articles saying that he was, he was Diddy's
Boy toy.
boy toy and all that. Come on, man, that's garbage. But yeah, um, but then they started using his support for his daughter because he did a whole photo shoot, a whole gay photo shoot. I shouldn't say gay photo shoot. It's a ally photo shoot,
Mm-hmm.
and they were saying that he was doing that as like virtual signaling to the higher ups that like he's marketable with the gays, but other people were trying to say that he's just because he's one of them, but he's just not coming out. This is the closest he can get to coming out. But yeah, I like your take on that. I think it's ridiculous personally.
Yeah, I say, and honestly, dude, who cares, man? Like but and that's where it gets funny because when you're a celebrity, it's not you don't have a personal life. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Your life is out there. But my thing is like, as long as you don't bring your personal life into my life, and I'll try my hardest not to bring my personal life into somebody else's life, it's kind of like who cares, man? It's like,
well, and funny you say who cares? It's the people that book us that could, the people that can give you a movie deal and, and make you work forever. That's that's who cares. They need to know where you stand. They care. They care. It's like you want to work for a good time or a long time. What's your you want to work for the day or you want your kids to eat? What do you want?
oh man.
You got
You
to show
know
your support.
you know who had the funniest story about something like that was Gary Owen.
What do you say?
Oh, he said he got proposition and he played it off, he he played it off real cool and was like, no, that's not, not me. And it actually ended up not being as awkward as it could have been because he kind of just, played it off and was like, no, I'm not, with whoopty whoop and shit. That's just it. But then I say this though, with the society that we live in now, with the way society's been since the beginning of time, when you have people in power, they're going to exploit that power. And that's just the
Hmm.
way the world works, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna dabble into this a little bit, but then we can move on.
Yeah.
Um, was I've been watching the Menendez brothers TV show, whatever, because it's supposed to be a sequel to the Jeffrey Dahmer. That was called Monsters. It's called Monsters,
Uh-huh.
and I've always known loosely about this story, but it leans hard into that stuff. And it always makes me wonder how much is true, how much is not. You know what I mean? Because it leans hard into like they kind of create a scenario um, that like literally, if you're not these two people in the room, there's no way you would know what was said amongst these two people.
Mm-hmm.
And one of these people is dead. This was the father of the Menendez brothers. Other one was like another, like who maybe is alive and could tell the story, so could just be lying. So it's just interesting how far they take, the fantasy elements when filling in the holes of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of it. It's a lot of it. And I really feel like if you want to sell a show on Netflix right now, you know what I mean. If you got to have something in there.
Hey, man, I'll say this about Netflix and we move on. There's an element of that type of thing in almost every Netflix show that I watch. And sometimes I have to catch myself and I'm like, man, does this have anything to do with the storyline? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Can this story be told without that? And to the higher ups, absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that segues greatly into Boosie made up with his daughter today.
That's
Basically,
dope.
yeah, Boosie. So I don't even know where the interview was at, but basically, Boosie's pretty free with his words, and it's almost like he gets in trouble especially when it comes to this subject. And he was going hard about his daughter. Pretty much, I think he was having inside baseball. You got to be careful with the family conversation and going public with it. Basically, he was going hard and saying that he don't let his daughter into a house around his younger kids because she could contaminate them. And yeah, his daughter was extremely hurt by that. And I ain't gonna lie, I did kind of appreciate the when I heard it, I appreciate the way she handled it. Because basically
Real,
she's like, man, I hold on to the family secrets and I don't even go hard. So, and we were kind of waiting to see how he would react.
one thing that really impressed me with her, first of all, she comes from him and he off the chain. You know what I'm saying? And with as off the chain and with as disrespectful as I've seen him be to his daughter, when she spoke about him, it was very impressive the level of respect she had for him, even though she was hurt. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? And it 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 really gave me a lot of respect on how a child could have a parent going very hard with the disrespect, but then the child, even though she was raised by this rapper in that environment, you probably seen all kinds of stuff, go on and whatnot, and how she could still maintain a high level of respect for her child, for her parent. Now, the interesting thing was she was saying that he knew how she was for a while. She didn't just pop it up on him and
mhm,
just, just do that. But then
mhm.
when you and this ain't to throw Vlad under the bus. He don't need no help being thrown underneath the bus. I got my feelings about
What
him.
was it a Vlad interview?
No, no,
He
no, no,
said
no,
that?
no, no.
Okay.
I was just gonna make the point. It takes a certain type of person that'll sit down on the couch with Vlad and like Vlad and Boosie have had a relationship for probably 10 years or better, where they get down and they just talk, where they sit down and they talk
Mhm.
about various subjects and topics and stuff like that. So you know me looking at Boosie anyway, you know it's just kind of like you you're who Vlad goes through for the black opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just kind of that's just kind of whatever. But I have my personal feelings towards Vlad because once again I feel like he disrespected the minister Farrakhan, and uh it was lies.
Yeah.
It was Vlad's ignorance. It was lies, and I just feel like man, he should apologize. And it's amazing to me because like come in and that dude, I know you deal with these people and all that, but like with DL Hughley, he finds ways to uh, defend Vlad in different arenas and whatnot. And DL he's a likable comedian. I think he's a decent guy. You know what I'm saying? But for him to deal with Vlad after Vlad did that, I just kind of feel like Vlad does he owes the minister an apology. And
Vlad is a we go beyond visitor of the culture. You know what I mean? It's like when you're making so much money off of something, and it'll behoove you to have your facts correct. You know what I'm saying? Just to fact check. Because even me, my child view of Farrakhan versus me as an adult is different. You know what I'm saying? Because as a child, you're just getting the caricature. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
And it's so many things. You can deal with just about anybody. But as an adult, when you're dealing with real world issues and stuff like that, you get a different perspective. But Vlad has his own agendas. Vlad is not on camera for a reason. Like you're not on camera for a reason. And I understand when it comes to media, especially social media, there's a lot of evolution. So we're all adapting to this format together. It's evolving. But I can't let Vlad off the hook because you're not on camera for a reason. So that's kind of like when somebody's like people jumping somebody, and then you kind of jump in like, yeah, take that. Like you
Over
are
the hand, hitting somebody on the top of their head.
yeah, you are almost more criminal because you're not trying to be a face. But now he's poking at his chest and he's attacking elder statesmen in our culture. So I think he deserves some pushback for sure. And let's just keep it 100. The reason why these people are still going back to Vlad, even though he's showed his hand several times, is because don't know what type of checks he cutting, but he just cutting some big checks. You know what I'm saying? And Marlon Wayans wasn't wrong for upping his. That is good business. Instead of saying no, fuck you, I'm gonna say, well, this is how much it costs to come to get me. You know, and let's just leave it at that. It ain't got to be a big deal because let's believe if Marlon Wayans do a skit on Vlad, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Who more people gonna watch that than a Vlad TV? And get the fuck out of here, bro. YouTube is powerful, but it ain't. Come on, man. We know how to get in people's homes now. Chill out.
Hey, hey,
Chill out. But I wouldn't be mad if Vlad unplugged forever, personally. I'll be and let's keep it real. You talk about, I think people get confused when they say somebody's the feds. We know you're not working for the police, but if there's a certain
you're
cultural
assisting
aspect
them.
to questions you don't ask. Like some questions I find disrespectful, household questions. If I gotta know you a certain way to even go there with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why the phrase "your mama" comes from. Like, you don't know my mama, nigga. Like, it's offensive because I'm taking it there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Vlad will take it there casually, like it's part of an interview. He's like, "So, have you called your baby mother recently? Like, what's going on?" You'd be like, "Nigga, what?" That's fighting questions. So when he's doing that, and we're witnessing. I don't want to say where the Diddy stuff started because I don't know, but it definitely feels like Keefe D mistakenly thinking that he had immunity when he didn't. Him admitting to his crime on Vlad TV, and then now he's in actual trouble. I think that should be enough of a warning sign for Black people. It's not worth the price. I don't care if he's cutting you $5,000 checks for a 45-minute interview. You can go to jail for the rest of your life being on Black TV.
But I would have to say that, you know, Vlad knows what like. It's almost like taking advantage of a child, like an adult taking advantage of a child. It's like Vlad is smart enough to know the questions he's asking, and I think in his mind he's like, well, if they dumb enough to answer, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
it's
facts. But there's a certain responsibility that when
being
you're a part of our culture, like you take on. Like I ain't gonna sit here and bury
he's
nobody.
a guest to our
Yeah.
he's a guest in our culture. He has a seat that was pulled up. There's a table that has seats at the table.
Mhm.
They scooted a chair from another table and scooted him in where he don't even have the room to really put his plate down. He almost probably got to put his plate in his lap while he's eating at the table. But they've made this guy almost at the head of the table, dude. And like I said, back to guys like DL Hughley, it just kind of blows my mind because it's like, man, you're smarter than this. Like, do you like you make money, you have a social media presence, you have a radio show. Like, do you need that? Do you need to be do you need Vlad's platform that much to be relevant?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's just a regularly scheduled, like, hey, let me pick up this quick check. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying right now, the money ain't worth it. It's not. You know what I mean? I don't care what he cutting, because you know, I'm like this. When somebody shows you that, it if we get caught up, I'm snitching. Like I'm pointing. Like Vlad got all that energy. Like I don't care what go down. You, he did it. This is the day and time. Do you want the tapes? I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not worth the money. It's not worth whatever. Respect the deal. I mean, everybody can make that's an individual decision. You know what I mean? But I just say for me, my instincts is telling me, man, run, hide your kids, hide your wife. Because hey, if Vlad get raided, imagine Vlad get raided and they go, hey, all the stuff you said cut out, like the interview, hey, can you cut that out, please? Can you cut that out, please? Vlad is handing that over. And don't
Hey,
let him get arrested.
hey.
He telling on every he gonna take everybody down with him. So anyway, I don't even want to give him too much light. Respect to Marlon Wayans for proving that and moving on with his life. And everybody else, was good for you. Go to Art of Dialogue. Kanye shouted him out, so I go ahead and shout him out too. Art of Dialogue, who stole his format, but it's fine. And then we got other publications as well, so that's good.
So you know, I got one of my old school homeboys, not so old school, but I knew he's a younger cat, kind of impressionable. So he goes hard on the posts that they have that show Kamala looking like an idiot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It'll but they do the same with Trump. You know, there'll be social where they piece different content together to make whether it's Trump or Kamala, look like an idiot. So
Mm-hmm.
he had he sent he put this he's a Puerto Rican cat, but he's all and it kind of just made me feel away because I feel like, man, he's incorrigible. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so through the ads and whatnot, dissing Kamala or whatever, he a Republican. He's not of means. He's a
Sounds like.
poor person looking for a better way, and they were able to give him something attractive enough to make him feel that there's a reason why he's poor and in the situation he's in. Therefore, he feels that Trump and JD Vance are the answer to fix America. And so my question to him was kind of like, well, are Trump and JD Vance the answer to fix America? Or is it similar to a child that's upset and they're throwing a tantrum and they're just like, well, I'm just gonna do anything. Like someone who's a kid who's mad, so they're gonna bang their head up against the wall. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh.
banging your head up against.
Well, I say right now, for all politicians, I would say, well, I say for the individual who's paying close attention to each politician, right? Um, do yourself a favor, ignore everything they say, because this is the period of time they're gonna say whatever to get the vote. Like this is that
Semantics.
space. This it doesn't matter what's said because they're gonna go with the flow. They're gonna say whatever. If it's something, they're gonna target their base for sure. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get the truth from any side as of right now. But I would say it's a good time to play things they've said and done in the past against them. You know what I'm saying? But if, at this point, if people want to fall for the hype or make a thing or a comedy thing, I can't even front, because right now everybody get your money off of the clown show. Get your money.
Well,
Like if you want to make fun of it, if it what it is what it is.
the thing that kind of got me is he sent me a clip that showed this lady who was clearly on drugs, and she had tried to eat a cat or something like that. And so the police officer was there, and you could see when someone's whacked out of their mind or they're like, she wasn't, her mental state was not there. It was a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Her mental state wasn't there. And so then he sent it to me to show me, like, yeah, the immigrants are eating your dogs, they're eating your cats. And
Yeah.
then I just kind of felt like, damn, dude, you smarter than that. You know, uh tacos are $1 or $2. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's really gonna just eat like not cook and prepare, and like how much meat you gonna get off of a cat for real? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, but you know what? They actually traced that all the way back. Um, it was a rumor that spun out of control because I even seen the guy who first spread the rumor. He didn't think it would get as that big, and he kind of had a meltdown. And then, the person said geese initially, and then it evolved to cats and dogs. Um, but regardless, Trump was doing his job, and his tactic is fear mongering, to his base, which works. I will say immigration is a problem. And I just say just jump into it because we ain't got time to go all into it. But it's beneficial because it evolves into cheap labor, you know. But there are laws and stuff that seem like it benefits immigrants, and it should be regulated to a degree. How each candidate chooses to go about that is different. But I think no matter what, once they get in office, we got to hold them to that and follow through. Because one person has a policy, one other person has no policy technically when it comes to that. You know, I think like I said, I think just holding them to the words that they've said. You know what I mean? I think that's important. That's literally where we at. It's okay, guys. Just Google real quick. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Just a little tap tap tap. Little tap 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 tap. That's it.
Jeremy's a
Little tap 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 tap
professional
tap.
fact checker, man.
I literally a novice, bro. I just if
You
I hear
fast.
some I guess thank you, I guess. But literally I look it up, and stuff. And also to be fair, information evolves, So for example, like, hey, look, I haven't thought about Springfield, Ohio since forever. But now I got my eye on it, and I'm looking for somebody there. I'm gonna call, hey, have you seen anything weird? Oh, this is BS. Oh, this is real. It's just nothing wrong with fact checking a politician. Um, Now I'll say when it comes to when it comes to Kamala, the Kamala Trump thing, I think especially with the debates. I think I've said this before. I was wondering why both of them were avoiding answering questions, but I realized that the tactic was to get Trump to act out, which was successful. I think that's
Easy.
why. Yeah, I think that's was the focus because he was maintaining his composure early on, and it was kind of annoying me the way she was answering questions. Another thing that's come up is Kamala during the Oprah interview. Did you see that?
No.
She talked about having she said if somebody broke in her house, she goes, her and her husband have guns.
Oh, I
As
saw
long as
that
anybody,
clip. Yeah.
yeah, and then people got upset at that, and even Oprah tried to backtrack on her. She was trying to help her, like, and you have a gun. She's like, yeah. So I don't know the full thing when it comes to Democrats and guns, um, but I do know rich people, a lot of more well off people can be gun owners. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily see the discrepancy in that, but I guess it's the regulation. You know,
No,
I think that's what it is.
that's one of the things that the Republicans use is they say the Democrats are going to take your guns away. You know what I'm saying? They're going to take your gun rights away, your guns. But moving on, uh I was going to ask you a question and I kind of answered it for myself thinking
Yeah,
about it, but I'm still going to ask you I was going to ask you in this political cycle, are comedians using this election as subject matter the way that other comedians have used election cycles for subject matter? And I totally forgot, and it came to my mind. Um, Maya Randolph,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's funny, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Fun fact: she's mini Ripperton's
Yeah,
daughter. A lot of people.
I didn't think you knew who Minnie Ripper. I was gonna say that, but I didn't think you knew her
Yeah, yeah. I
name.
mean, tap 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 tap. Uh, but yeah. I did see the Saturday Night Live skit. It was good. Um, I would say because even with her impression at first, I was like, "I don't sound that good," but because she was yelling. When she's like just talking, she actually does sound like Kamala. Um, the Trump cat received a downgrade, believe it or not, but that's because Alec Baldwin was playing Trump, and
Yeah,
but he also would like throw some personal digs in there, because they got history.
yeah,
But since Alec, went through the whole situation, with you know, the lady in RIP situation, whatever. I'm sure he's staying
yeah,
out of the limelight. But yeah, the Trump was cool. I thought the funny thing was how they had the bullet shield up for Trump, and then when JD Vance jumped up there, they took the shield away. That was funny. They even tapped on them not liking each other. Well, yeah, Trump not liking JD and him not really being aware of it. I also liked I liked dang, what's his name? Oh, Dana Carvey. Dana Carvey. Man, he's a beast, man. I mean, I really think, he's like a watered down Jim Carrey, but his Joe Biden impression was really good. He was but like honestly, I'll be honest, I didn't laugh like busted. I didn't really laugh until he got on screen. That was good.
oh wow.
Um Yeah, when he got on screen, because I'm just watching. I'm like, that's interesting. I'm a comedian. This is good. Oh, that's okay. All right, I could have did better. He gets on, I'm laughing. I'm like, that's funny. But to answer your question, yeah, comedians are using it. That's just there's some comedians that every 4 years they like and they that's when they eat. You know what I'm saying? Um, I do think it's just not enough meat on the bone this election cycle because you got to understand it's the third Trump election. You know what I mean? Kamala, though she is you know, she's a decent politician. She's not as interesting as a Barack Obama or as a Joe Biden or as Hillary. I mean, most times people go to the race thing. I mean, they're digging, so we're finding stuff that's more interesting. But at the end of the day, I don't think she's as much of a caricature, and she doesn't have as extensive a history. Like we don't have that Hillary emails moment, or the Epstein Island stuff. We don't have the even the Monica Lewinsky-ness of it. We don't have the hot sauce. I do carry hot sauce in my purse. We don't have those moments yet. We
Well,
got
she
the
did say the best rapper alive, Tupac, which is just
well, you know what? Yeah, I'll give her that. I don't think that's the biggest mistake. And I remember they were saying rumors of her actually probably messing around with him. She was active in the '90s. So that's once again, I just don't feel like mocking her is as silly. You know what I mean? So it's not as people like the low hanging fruit jokes, and it's just not as much this go around. If you're making fun of Joe Biden, we kind of heard all that. If you're making fun of Trump, we kind of heard all that, except for the cats and dogs. And like I said, and it just forced people to be more creative. But our comedians using it, of course. That's it. Yeah, comedians are
I'm gonna
using it.
ask one more before we close it out. Uh are you familiar with Project 2025?
So yeah, not when I first heard it, but I was at the BET Awards when man, I'm losing names. I used to be good at names. What's her name? Baby boy. Hey, help me out, chat. What's her name? Anyway, she hosted the BET Awards. Uh,
Taraji?
Taraji B Henson hosted the BET Awards, and she had a outburst that wasn't planned because I was there for all the rehearsals. She had an outburst about 2025, blah 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 blah. I mean, look, um, I believe some of it's true. I don't believe it's to the extent that people are trying to make it. I think that there's different versions of this throughout history in general. Um, I do think with this second run of Trump, though, he'd be out for revenge for sure, for sure. And but I don't think, just like previously, there are things in the Constitution that this man just can't get around. So it'll be a fun one, you know. But yeah, that's it. It'll be fun, you
All
know.
right. Nah, with that being said, man, where can we come? Where can we check you out, man? What you got going?
What do I got going on? Shoot, let's see. Can I pull this up fast? Yes, I can. So happy October, everybody. It's a new time to come watch me perform and help me pay my rent. That's what I like to call this game. Help Jeremy pay his rent. Actually, Saturday I'll be at Comic Con, uh, 5 o'clock to whatever. That should be fun. I'll be on the 9th. I'll be in Long Beach, Bear City. All the stuff should be on my website when I update it. More importantly, I'll be. I think I got Austin coming up towards the end of the month, and I got DC Improv Halloween. The weekend of Halloween, I'll be in Washington D.C. So yeah, please check me out. Also at Jeremy Scippio. Oh, sorry, at Jeremy Comedy on Instagram. I'll go. I'm free to argue in the DMs if you want to debate me. I definitely welcome it.
Dope, dope. Well, no, man. This has been another episode of Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. Peace.
Well, I just like to shout out the chat too. Thank you guys. Follow along, Splendid Radio, Smooch, Farside TV, all that. Anyway, thank you guys for chiming in. Appreciate y'all.